the kind of explosive report from ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski and Ramona Shelburne last week detailing how the Warriors made a play for LeBron James before the trade deadline, which is now nearly 2 weeks past. Unbelievable. Kind of there's a notion that the Warriors were quiet before the deadline. They obviously were in terms of, actually things that materialized because they didn't do anything aside from trade Corey Joseph to the Indiana Pacers. But clearly they were active and and very much so in the way of trying to lure one of the all-time greats, in many people's opinion, the GOAT, to Golden State. Would have been quite unbelievable. So as the report stated, it actually kind of started on an ownership level with Joe Lacob and Jeannie Buss. And, the Lakers clearly not interested in trading LeBron, but actually told Golden State to go and contact Clutch Sports and Rich Paul, LeBron's manager, and obviously business partner and friend and whatever else, go and talk to him, kind of check the temperature there on where LeBron's head's at, because the Lakers been struggling in a similar manner to the Warriors, obviously, this season. They're 9th in the Western Conference. And the answer was a resounding no in terms of LeBron wanting to move to the Warriors. The thing, I suppose, since this report's come out is trying to work out, because Shelburne said since then that this was never, ever supposed to get out. This was supposed to be top secret and, move on, and no one ever, thinks about it or talks about it until maybe like if something happens in the future, which the report did say that the Warriors could revisit a potential James trade or whatever in the offseason. But it does make you wonder who leaked this, and I don't think it would be anyone from a Golden State perspective, but potentially, for the Lakers and LeBron, you get the kind of PR stunt of being able to show that, from a LeBron standpoint, that you're being loyal to the Lakers and that you want to stay here. And from a Laker perspective, you get the PR, the positive PR of, LeBron does want to be here, and that we're providing an organization at the moment that is attractive to LeBron, is not making him look elsewhere. And that's obviously a big thing for not only the current roster and the faith and trust that they've got with one another and that they've got in LeBron and vice versa. But obviously, there's been reports that the Lakers are looking for a third star in the offseason, and you're going to be much more comfortable going to the Lakers if you're confident with what LeBron thinks about the team and his own future. So it's fascinating. What the Warriors are going to do in the offseason is going to be certainly interesting, because there's been kind of conflicting reports about the Warriors wanting to add, another superstar next to Stephen Curry, while there was also Joe Lacob's comments on the Tim Kawakami show about not only wanting to get under the second tax apron, but potentially getting under the luxury tax altogether, which, like, those two things don't particularly marry up. Like, you're not going to be able to get a superstar player and get under the luxury tax at the same time. So it's going to be interesting to see. Would I want LeBron on the Warriors? I think there's a lot of Warrior fans that would just completely dismiss the idea simply because it's LeBron James, simply because he's been such a long-time rival with his, in his time with the Cavs and whatever else, and some of the relationships between LeBron and players in Golden State, although like they've mended. Like, LeBron's best mates with Draymond. I think LeBron and Steph get along really well now. I think they've got to a point in their careers where they just highly respect each other's games and each other's legacies. But would I want LeBron at the Warriors? I think for the right price, yeah. I'm not dismissing the idea like a lot of Warrior fans would be. For the right price, yes. And it's interesting how they kind of, even on the alternate broadcast of the All-Star game yesterday, a couple of clips I kind of heard of Draymond and Charles Barkley even entering into the discussion, which is interesting. And Charles saying that, if the Warriors had been stupid enough to offer up Clay and JK for LeBron, that the Lakers would take that tomorrow, which I'm not particularly sure they would necessarily. I don't think they'd take it as easily as what Charles made out to be. I think they'd definitely have to think about it, and they might not make that move. But Draymond kind of came out and said, nah, like I told Joe that if it required JK to be in the trade to get LeBron, that don't do that, which is kind of interesting because 2 months ago you would have said, yeah, the Warriors would definitely sacrifice Jonathan Kuminga if it meant getting LeBron James back. But now we're at a point where, in terms of trade value, Jonathan Kuminga probably has more trade value than LeBron James, which is a funny thing to say, but also just true at this point, I think. So if it was, like, if something happened before the deadline and it was, let's say, Chris Paul, Kevon Looney, Moses Moody, I'm trying to get the contracts lining up here. We're about 39, 42. That nearly gets it done. And like a first round pick. Then yeah, you probably do, like you probably do make that move. Again, I don't think the Lakers would, but I think I'd be happy if the Warriors did that.